Okay, so as you can all see, Brian, I just had a special Ferrari in there for you. It's a friend of mine that has a beautiful Ferrari. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's so great. I can see thousands of you from all over the world. Thank you for my friends from all over the world also tuning in. And I'm looking forward to sharing it with you on how you can crush it in this year. Now, for me, it's all about we need to start raising our standard. You know, things have changed a lot in the last few months, and we are so challenged that it's time for us to crush it. Now, I've created this hashtag for the year because every year is something special for me. Every year I live to a certain word that means something to me. You know, if something means to you, you can wake up every day because there's power in words. Now, one of them are live without regret. I want to share with you later today about the journey that had a big impact on my life. And when I came back, I started with this word of living without regret, because I don't want to get to the day when I get in an old age home, sit back and think about, I should have done this more. I should have started that business that I had of that one dream, that one goal. I should have lived, and I didn't. And then it's too late. The other word that I lived by and still live by is whatever it takes. If you tell me, Cobus, I will do my best, it's hard to believe you, because you know when you do your best and it doesn't work out, you say to me, Cobus, I did my best. But it was because of the coronavirus. It was because of the government. It was because of new laws. And you will find always excuses and of why you didn't achieve it, yet you gave your best. But if you say whatever it takes, there's nothing that can stop you, because you can't have an excuse. You have to take responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your actions in the end of the day. And for this year, my word is to crush it, because we need to change the way we do things and the way we do business. Now, I'm going to share with you a quote that I live by. It's a quote by Gandhi. And it's a quote that formed part of my life, and a quote that I would love to share with everyone, because there's so much truth to that. There's so much. If you start living by this quote, I promise you the way your life would be will never be the same again. Now, the quote is the following. I just want to move that on. I just want to see why. Oh, next. Okay, it's that we are in charge of our thoughts, our words, and our actions. You know, one thing about it is, how many of you, if you look at that picture of me walking over 500 to 600 degrees fire, you know, how many of you believe fire burns? You know, in the chat box, you know, maybe you can say, you know, I do. How many of you do believe fire burns? Because it's 500 to 600 degrees, and aluminium melts to 250. According to medical books, at 150 you need to go to the hospital, and yet we can walk over fire. Now, if your belief is about that you can't walk over fire, that will become your destiny at the end of the day, because your beliefs become your thoughts. If your belief is that the world's business and everything is going down, that will become your reality, because that is what you will think about every single day. Your thoughts will become all about that negativity. Because the next thing is our thoughts become our words. What do you speak of on a daily basis? Is it negativity? How's your self-talk? Because there's life and death in the power of the tongue, and those who love to use it will bear the fruits of it. So why do you want to sow negativity? Why do you want to sow doubt? Why do you want to sow an uncertain future? Because our words become our actions. We start acting out our words. If you are afraid to take action, you start, and about what is happening in the world, you start moving backwards. If you are afraid the fire is going to burn you, you're going to think about burning, and you're going to use words that I don't want to get burned. And your actions will be, there's no way I'm walking over that fire. I'm not going to do it. You start walking backwards. You're not walking forwards. You keep moving backwards because you are scared. Because in the next step, action become a habit. How we do anything is how we do everything. And that is where the power lies, because suddenly that becomes a habit in our life, that one way we do anything, we will start doing in every area of our life. And after that, our habits become our values. And you've all heard from Dr. DeMartini, the power of values and what your values are. Your values get formed. You create your own values. And in the end, our values ultimately leads and becomes our destiny. And as I look at this quote, we are in charge of our destiny. No matter what is in the news at the moment, no matter how dire the world looks like, you are in charge of your future. You are in charge of your destiny. And we need to start changing it. And I was in a situation that I want to share with you is it all starts with you. You know, it all starts with your personal growth. You know, for me, that is the most important is, are you working on yourself on a daily basis? Are you growing? Everyone that is here that is either an employee or in business are probably not working on themselves because life is hard. We like to complain. We like to share negativity. We like to say it's because the way I grew up or the country I grew up or the type of parents that I had. And I could accept that as my future, or I can change that around and I can start investing in my future. And I think all of you that are on this weekend are here to actually grow in yourself, because you realize that if I don't do that, my situation will not change. And personal growth also helps us to grow our mind and to allow us to change our beliefs about what is possible. Because your beliefs can only be changed if you start upskilling yourself, if you start learning new skills, if you learn new tools. Then you start growing as a person and your beliefs change. Before you have learned to drive a car, you first have to learn to drive the car, to believe that you can drive the car, and suddenly your destiny changes. And sort of you, for me, I just want to give a shout out of people that had a big impact in my life. You know, some of them were mindset, some of them were the business. You know, just to give a shout out, you know, my first time I walked on fire was with Hannes Dreyer, and then there was Tony Robbins. I went to learn to become the first and only master firewalk instructor in Africa to allow people to take them to the next level. And in business, there was Leon. In social media, there was Gary V. Brian, and I've met actually a long time ago. In 2008, I started with Brian. And look where we are today, Brian. You know, we are on the same platform. I'm talking with you, and I'm sharing this platform of sharing knowledge and sharing value and sharing that to people that anything is possible. And then there's Gary V and Mr. Robin Banks and Grant Cardone, and even my dad had a big impact in my life. There's plenty of other gurus that I can talk about that had an impact on my life. But for me, the most important is to ask you, who do you have in your life at the moment? Who's your gurus? Who's the people that you learn from that are already successful in areas that you can learn from to become successful? The people that you can model. There are so many of them that are successful, but why don't you reach out to them? And that's why we are on this webinar, is to learn from them and it's to grow ourselves. Now, one thing for me it's important is to follow the Kaizen philosophy, to practice continuous improvement. One thing that I've learned, it takes one step at a time, and you're going to see later why I say that. One step at a time on a daily basis. You can't expect to go and bath once a month and stay clean for the whole month. Everyone, this is a continuous process. If you want to change your destiny, you need to start today. Whatever you do today will determine your future. And that is where I want you to be, is to realize, before we get to that one, there's a story about a guy that was born as a hemophiliac. Now, I'm going to share this story with you, and some of you probably don't have health issues and don't have health problems, but it's the lessons in the story that I would love to share with you, because we all have a mountain in front of us to climb. We all have this mountain of coronavirus, we all have this mountain of business and uncertainty. But what is the lessons and how we can get out of it? Because this person lost everything, almost lost his life, lost his health, had multiple businesses, had to lose everything from being in a franchise called Zebros, family business of operating 40 furniture stores in Limpopo, of having his own dog biscuit factory. And at the end of the day, everything fell apart. I lost everything. I lost it then. I got divorced. I lost my wife. And at the end of the day, I paid the price. And the thing is, no matter your challenge in front of you, if it's that challenge or your physical challenge, where I ended up one day not being able to walk. You know, as a hemophiliac, that's the most challenging. I had to endure pain 24/7. I couldn't sleep. I had to crawl where I wanted to be. And then suddenly from all the crawling, I got blisters. Being an entrepreneur and being in business, everyone, it's not easy. Being and living in this life is challenging. There's always challenges around that will challenge us. And it will allow us to face ourselves. And we need to first grow in ourselves as individuals before we can start focusing on building our business and our dreams and our teams. And I ended up going from being crawling around to being in a wheelchair. And then I still needed to motivate people being in a wheelchair and say, tomorrow will be a better day. And then I was in my crutches. And by walking on my crutches, I had cruciate bruises underneath my arms that every walk was painful. You know, in business, every day is going to be a challenge. Nobody talks about that are successful about the nights they cried, that when they knew they had to pay bills tomorrow, the late nights they had to work hard, everything they needed to do, the stresses, the challenges, not being able to sleep, their health, everything comes down. Nobody talks about it. Life is painful, and how badly do you want to be successful? How badly are you willing to put in the work to get to the next level? Because if we get through this pain, anything is possible. We just need to grow. It's like a snake shedding its skin. And for me, the most important is, what is your why? Why do you get up in the morning? What do you want to achieve in life? Where are you going? What is your why? Because if your why is strong enough, you will figure out the how. Now, this is important, and I want to share with you, me being bedridden and not being able to walk, I needed to find a reason to live. What is my why? Why do I want to live? Why do I want to wake up? Because I want to make a difference. Of course, everyone wants to make a difference. It needs to be bigger than that. You know, you want to challenge the status quo. You want to change the way people look at the world. Why not start now and finding your why? Because you will figure out the why. And on this journey, being in a wheelchair, being bedridden, not being able to walk, I set myself a goal so big of going to climb Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain of Africa. And that's why I say we all have challenges in front of us. And it might be the biggest mountain, and it might seem impossible. It might seem it's not possible. But the thing is, you will figure out the how. And so in 2018, I had the opportunity to go climb a mountain by the name of Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa. And as you can see, I did it in partly with my crutches. I had every night I had to have knee guards. I have to have ankle guards for every day that I walk. Was it easy? No. Was it painful? Of course, every step was painful. But the lessons that I've learned is that, yes, I have a destiny, I have a goal, I have a vision, I have a mission that I'm going. I want to get on top of the mountain. But every day I had to wake up and I had to focus on the rock first in front of me, get to that rock. Yes, my aim for that day was the camp, or the next camp. But to get to that camp, I had to focus on the steps I had to take now. Every single step managed was important. Every step I had to take one step at a time. And everything that you're learning over these few days might seem to yourself that it's overwhelming. It's so much info. How will I be able to do it? And all that I say to you, one step at a time. One step at a time to move forward and to achieve what you need to achieve. It seemed impossible to go climb a mountain with crutches, but it is possible. Because if you focus on it, if you start changing your beliefs, it then becomes your thoughts, then becomes your words. And your words that you speak out, you sow seeds of success, of attracting your successes. And suddenly you start taking the right actions. It becomes habits and values. And ultimately, before we know it, we are living in that destiny. But it has to start with you first. I want to share with you today a gift. And it's a book that we've written. And, I could have chosen to sell these books at $9.97 per book to you all and have you buy my books and my co-author and Horn's books. And yes, we probably would have made a little bit of money. But for me, it was to share with you what had a big impact on my personal growth. What started my journey, that kick-started it in my life and in my friend Renier's life, that took it to the next level. The power of the mind, how your mind works, the power of words, the power of color, music, how we can reprogram our minds so that we can start thinking differently, the power of setting goals, of creating your vision. And, you can go look on Amazon. These books are selling for $9.97, and I'm sharing this with you. Now, most of you probably will never read these books. But the thing is, I want to give it to you, and I want to share it with you. And I want to ask you, please go read it. And once you've read it, go give us a review or feedbacks online, on our social media. You can go and search. Let me just, it's sharing already. Thank you very much for that. So please go download it. My thing for you is that go and read it. Give me feedback and start applying. Most people say knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. You can learn all this knowledge this weekend, but if you don't go and apply it, you will never be able. You will not apply knowledge as power. You will not be successful, because I have the knowledge and power to have a six-pack. But do I have a six-pack? No, because I'm not applying that knowledge. So it's important for you to go and learn this. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to get feedback from you about how powerful this and how this impacts your life. Now, the next thing I want to focus on and get to you, the importance of, yes, we just spoke about personal growth and looking after yourself and taking you to the next level, because once you are in a good space, you can now start investing into your team, but also investing into your business to accelerate your growth in the next few months. Where do you start? Now, most people just jump in and start a business, and before they know it, they don't know what's the next step to do, and they haven't built the right systems and they haven't built the right structures. And before we know it, you have to reset your business and start all over again. But also, how many of you are currently faced with the fear of not being able to open your doors of your business by the end of the month? How many of you are afraid that are employed that you will not have a work by the end of the month? How many of you are afraid that of all the news that you see, that your health will be taken an impact, that you won't be able to see family? What is some of your fears of going forward after coronavirus? I think that is important for me. I see someone is moving my slides. Just want to move it back. I don't know why that's happening. Is anyone moving my slides? Can someone just check that for me?
Cobus, there seems to be something weird happening with all our slides. I don't know what is the story, but
okay,
just go forward.
Okay, so I will just keep on talking, and as soon as the slides get back. I think important for me is you need to start focusing on yourself, but now and how to get through this period of time in your business. Now, for me, the most important is you need to now lay the foundation. You have these 3 days to work on your business, to lay the foundation to go forward. Now, everything starts with the foundation. Before you can plant your seeds, you need to look at your foundation and prepare it. You can't just go plant seeds anywhere and expect to get the harvest. It's the most important thing is to put down a foundation before you start your business. What's your vision? What's your mission? What is your goals? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be in the next few months, in the next few years? And you lay out your foundation, because that is the most important thing in any business. That is why you all are here on this webinar, to learn from all of these amazing speakers on how to lay the foundation so that you can be successful in the next few months. Now, the next thing is, after you have your foundation ready, is you need to look at then planting your seeds. What seeds are you going to plant? Because whatever seed you decide to plant is going to determine how long it's going to take for it to become, to grow. There's something called the Chinese bamboo that can take up to 5 years before you see it. And the reason for that, it needs to first get its roots strong enough, because then after 5 years, it shoots up overnight to almost 90 meters to reach its full potential. Now, my philosophy is everything works in 3, 6, 9, 12, 3 years, 3 months. And the reason for that is, for us to see results, we can only see over a period of time. I would have been the richest man in the world if I can give you an instant gratification, instant results. Yet there is not such thing as instant. The one thing is, you can't do the same way you've done business in your and the way we've done it in the last few months or the last years. are changing. Now, you need to, where companies and individuals used to do a strategy session and a goal set session and on a yearly basis, everyone, it has changed. You need to do that at least every 3 months, and you have to steer your ship so that you can still reach a destination. Not wait every year. I do a lot of team building and team trainings and team strategy sessions, and the teams love to do it on a yearly basis. And I keep challenging them, you need to do it every 3 months to get the ultimate results. Now, then you have to look after your seeds. You need to give it fertilizer. You need to give to cut out all the weeds. You need to get the pest away. You need to water it. And you have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. You can't expect to do it once and to expect that you're going to reap the harvest. Before you know it, you might lose your whole harvest. Because that is the next step, is to reap your harvest. Dependent on the seed that you've planted and how you've looked after it, you will reap your harvest in the end of the day. Now, for me, is to come back to the reality. Now, you all know the reality at the moment. The biggest pain in the world, like mine, was health and businesses. This was an article in the Independent that said the coronavirus will bankrupt more people than it kills. And that's the real global emergency. And that is my thing to you, is it's time for you to look at how can we face this? Because that is a reality. And yes, my reality was I couldn't walk, but I could change that around, and before I know it, I climbed the mountain. The reality in the world is that history repeats itself. And if we don't learn from the history, we are destined to repeat it. Now, the pandemics was there every 100 years. And the thing is, if we don't learn from that, we're going to repeat it. But for me, the secret is, for those who are in business, is what came after this. What was the next thing after this? And what came after this is where the world went into a Great Depression. And I just show you 2 marks there. That is where the economy went down. And you needed to start looking at that. And you can see, Cobus, but are we going in the same way? If that happens, it is out of our control at the moment. We can't just now put our focus on it. We might go through another depression. But if we do, we need to start looking not at the depression, but the opportunities and the gaps in the market that will arise from this, so that we can step up and be successful. Because big companies are suffering. Big companies are looking at closing down. And that will leave gaps in the market for us as entrepreneurs to step in to be the next billionaires, like Steve Visser, that came out of the dot-com bubble and then made a big success. Because if you're going to focus on fear and things that you can't control, fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? It's a product of our imagination causing us to fear things that are near insanity. Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. You can let this coronavirus and what's happening in the world affect you and make you afraid of not taking steps. Or you can say, Cobus, I'm in charge of my destiny, and I'm going to take it on by changing the way I believe about the world and what's coming. I believe that a lot of opportunities are around the corner. How many of you know Steve Jobs? In 86, he lost his company, was ousted at Apple. But what happened in the end of the day at Apple? He built it to $1 billion company in the world. The same with Steve Bezos. He was basically surviving the dot-com, almost closing his doors. And what happened there? He took on the gap and he created one of the biggest companies in the world. Elon Musk. There's an article that he said in 2008, he didn't even have money to his name. He was basically bankrupt. But overnight, he built up Tesla, the X-Flight that he built, that taking people to space. A crisis is either an excuse for mediocrity or an opportunity for excellence. You can either sit back and let this in the future define you, and you can say, I'm living without regret. Why didn't I take that chance? Why didn't I step up? The next thing, how many of you love sports teams? How many of you remember the Springboks? For those who are not overseas, this is our national sports team that plays rugby. And 2 years, they just won the World Cup last year. But 2 years before that, they just ousted their coach because they were on a losing streak. Then a new coach comes in and says to the country, we're going to win the World Cup in 2 years' time. People were laughing and saying, you are crazy. And guess what? Then they started playing and they started losing again. And people, you see, how are you going to win the World Cup if you can't even win games? But people, if we have a vision, we have a goal, and the team is getting together. You have to get your team to buy into your company vision and in your vision. You are just as strong as your team. Who's your support staff? Who's your people that you surround yourself with? On Kilimanjaro, I wouldn't have been able to make it without my team. The porters that carried everything up, that made life so much easier. But I also wouldn't have made it up there with the group of coaches that I had around me, because Rassie is not alone. The coach of the Springboks had multiple coaches. If it wasn't for the 7 people that climbed Kilimanjaro with me, I wouldn't have made it, because every day they motivated me. Every day they pushed me harder. And guess what? They won the World Cup. It's time for you to step up and create your destiny, because you can be where the Springboks are now. But before you know it, in a year's time, 2 years' time, you will look back and will see this was a defining moment in your life to take it to the next level. One thing that I told you is we need to learn from our history. Now, just in the same time there was a big depression, there was a guy that wrote a book that called Think and Grow Rich. It was written in 1937. Out of depressions, there is opportunities. You know, he studied over 500 self-made millionaires that survived the depression. So we need to go learn from those, because if we're going through that, how can we grow out of that and be successful in the next few years? Some of the steps that I found that isn't Think and Grow Rich, that is actually what I'm talking about, is first you have to have a burning desire. You must be in love with your goal. You need to be in love with your vision. You have to then have the absolute faith, no matter what, that you will achieve it. I had to have faith that I will be able to get on top of the mountain. Self-talk, like Gandhi says. Our words. Do you talk to yourself on a daily basis? Do you motivate yourself? Do you say your goal to yourself every day? The next one is, in the world that is coming, is we will need to start specializing at what we are good at. Become the expert, narrow our focus. Fall in love with what we do. Because the thing is, start doing what you love and get other people to come into your business to do what they are good at, so that you can just focus on you and your passion. The next one, have an imagination. Start dreaming. See the world as you want it to be. See the potential of the future. The next one is to have a plan, to be prepared. The better your plan is, the better the results will be. The next one is then to take, like Tony Robbins loves to say it as well, take massive, consistent action. Be persistent. Form a mastermind. Surround yourself with people that will take you to the next level. Never, always keep your focus. Reprogram your beliefs. Like Gandhi says, listen to your gut feelings and then your sixth sense. Your intuition are powerful, but you need to start listening to it, because the more you listen and follow it, the stronger it will get. In this world, my lesson to you in your business is to start producing content that you become omnipresent. My dad used to say, Cobus, your most important thing or valuable thing in the world is your name. But the thing is, if nobody knows your name, it's not important. If I search you and your company and I find nothing, you don't exist. It's time to position yourself as being the guru in the market, to create that perception that you are number one, that you are the guru, the leader, the prophet, the professional, the master, the mentor at what you do. And now you say, Cobus, but if I say I'm number one, how can I prove that I'm number one? How you do is by social proof, social credibility of what other people are telling about you. You don't go to a restaurant. If I say to you, think about a great burger, where restaurant do you think of? You won't go to one that you don't know of. But if someone tells you, go to that restaurant because I got amazing value, you will trust their word for it and you will go and try out that new restaurant. And that is why social credibility and proof is so important, because you need to be out there on all social media. LinkedIn is the fastest growing social media compared to business marketing. It's where Facebook was 10 years ago. Twitter, Anchor for podcasting? Are you putting out voice for people to listen at, but not selling, but value? Are you having videos up on YouTube? Are you on TikTok? TikTok is was most downloaded app for 2019. Are you on Pinterest? Are you on Google My Business? Are you blogging through Medium? Are you using WhatsApp Business? Are you on Instagram? Are you using the messenger bot that Real Success is using to interact with your people and your customers? Now you say, Cobus, but where do I get down? What do I create for these platforms? My gift to you is a gift from Gary V, and it's how to make 64 pieces of content a day. When you now ask Cobus, 64 pieces. Everyone, the importance of 64 pieces in the end of the day is this world of social media is a sea of chaos. There's so much content. And if you don't put out content, you will not be seen. You can't post one thing a day or one thing every 2 days, like most people get a social media person to like post for them every second day. It doesn't work. People will miss it. You need to be in the now. You have to be sharing value that people want to reshare it for other people. Will you guys just share the file for me? Thank you for sharing it. I love it. So please download, learn from how Gary V says how you can create 64 pieces of content in one day. Go follow it and start applying it and adding it to your social media. The next thing is to grow yourself and to be seen and use the algorithms of social media is to like, comment, share, get recommendations and reviews. For me, that is the most important, is if you have a team of 20 people, have they each given you a recommendation on Facebook and LinkedIn? Have they all given you a review on your own company page? Are they all sharing and liking when you post something on your company page? The thing is, if they don't, you're not using the tools that are free. You see, algorithm on all social media works in a sense that it shares the info that is important for people to see. And if your post is trending through likes, shares, comments, and recommendations, guess what? Google finds it as important and says, oh, maybe people need to see this, and it starts putting it in people's news feeds. And that is why it's so important to ask your customers, your team, your friends, that whenever you post, wouldn't you mind go and like my post and share my post or give me a recommendation? Because the thing is, if I Google you and I come to your Facebook page and you've posted in 2014 the last time or 2018, means you probably don't exist. It means you're not relevant. It means you're not in the moment. Your company doesn't exist. It means you don't exist. But if I come to your page and I see you have like one of my clients has 250 reviews on her Facebook page, when she posts something, she gets between 200 and 500, not 200, up to 200 likes. She gets 50 shares. She gets like 10 comments per post. And automatically, when she posts something, it goes viral. And her page is Color My Soul, and it's just amazing to see how she's grown. And she hasn't paid 1 cent on social media. She's using the algorithm. She's always sending me link, like my post, share my post. Are you doing that in your company? Now, everyone, for me, I want to share with you. I'm currently, and I just want to shout out to them, the brand ambassador for Body 20 and South Dance and Irene. And the lesson I want to share with you on that point is that you don't have to learn the potholes by yourself or the pitfalls by yourself. You know, I can go to the gym, and it's challenging to gym with my elbows that are crooked and my ankles that doesn't exist. And so I can't pick up weights. And so I could have gone to the gym and tried with my little bit of pain to move, and I wouldn't have grown. But the thing is, in the last 3 months, just in 20-minute session a week, and having the right coach, the right training, the right nutrition, I gained 5% muscle mass, only 20 minutes a week. I've lost almost 4% in body fat percentage in only 3 months. The moment is to realize is you need to find yourself. By now, I think you need to realize you need a coach. By now, you need to realize that you need a coach in each area of your life, because that is important. You need to, I think by now, it's important for you to grow, because a coach and the right mentor will help you to see the pitfalls so that you don't remake that mistake. That's one thing my dad is a mentor, is that he's been through life. He came out of the police and started a business of nothing and grew it up to a multi-million rand business in South Africa. And he always tell me, Cobus, listen to me. I've been through the struggles. I've been through the pitfalls. I don't want you to do the same. The thing is, by listening to them, I will not make the same mistake, and I will be getting to my destiny so much faster. So by now, I would like to invite you to join my masterclass webinar. It's how to grow and reform your business in 12 weeks masterclass. By now you've seen that I give a lot of value. By now you realize that if you don't invest in yourself. Now you're going to ask me, Cobus, so how much is this course, this webinar? It's $997 US. And the reason why I charge for this is I only want people that are serious to invest in themselves, to grow themselves, not only on a personal level, but on a business level. I want people to show up. If you invest in something, you are valuing it and you will show up. Because 80% of success is by showing up. By now, you've seen that I've been in a journey and that I only share my personal experiences. By now, I've lived life and I can tell you where the pitfalls is so that you don't do the same pitfalls. Everyone, I think by now you realize the importance of why we are here now. And while we are here, I just want to share you the importance of what I've done and some of my friends' life. Like one of my clients, Krupa, says that you are helping me to crush it, Cobus Visser, not just in 2020, but right now from the start. Thanks for push, the motivation, and especially the support. Another person, Hilton, says, you are spot on, but all the achievements are thanks to you, Cobus. You are a rock. Thank you, my friend. I challenge one James. He said, you're very good at that, just in case you didn't know, because I got him to take action. Sajan, that you've heard earlier, says, I recommend Cobus. Cobus is my brother from another mother. I've never met a person who can bring such calm to chaos like CV. He truly is Superman, and his team are consummate professionals. If you're looking at radical change, your team belief, and unlocking your true potential, then I highly recommend Cobus Visser. Now, I can read all through this. This is not to blow my horn or anything. This is to show you that I keep you accountable and I help you to achieve success. I want serious people to join me on this journey that are willing to take the steps to get the results. For me, it's all about results. And the reason for that is my brand is so important. My name is important. I want you to be successful. I want you to get to the next level. I want you to raise the standard and crush it in 2020. I want you to start living without regret. I want you to start doing whatever it takes to follow your dream and your passion. So by now, I want you to think about and get to invest and start your journey with me. So I want to say, from my side, thank you, everyone. I think my time is basically finished. Gerard, if you're still there.
Hey.
Brian.
Well, you're a bit ahead of your time, but that was an amazing presentation. I think, as a lot of people said, Cobus, you just exemplify, overcoming challenges in life. So I think, having you talk to people about this challenge that people aren't as used to having to overcome as you are through your own challenges in life, I think has really made people realize, there's bigger things out there. So I think it was amazing presentation. Love you for it, my friend. And please go through, is that now to register for the webinar? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's a masterclass webinar. All the detail will be on there when they register, and it will be in this week coming on Thursday. And I'm looking forward for people to join me on this journey. Brian, just on that note, about a year ago, you hosted an event, and I was like, why am I not on that event? And I was like, why? I'm the best. Why didn't Brian call me? And Brian didn't phone me. And it's a year later, I'm like, I need to change that. And so I put out the vision that I'm going to be on stage with you a year later. And I said, I'm going to be there. Like I told everyone, I had this vision and goal, and I will do whatever it takes to be on there. And guess what? I created that destiny because I was not only on this platform with you now, but I was on stage with you in January in front of 6,000 people, 3,000 in the room and 3,000 online. But it's amazing how we are in charge of our destiny. So I want to say just thank you for you as well, for your trust and belief in me. And yeah, I don't know if there's any questions that we need to answer, but yeah, from my side, thank you, Brian.
No, that's brilliant, Cobus, and it's a pleasure. And I think, like you and I said when we met for breakfast early in January, you know, there's never the right or wrong time. It's always the right time. So it's been amazing connecting with you, and loved having you as part of this as well. Like I said, so relevant for people. I'm just talking to the team simultaneously here. Okay, so that webinar is available for those that want it. Make sure you go and grab it. It's just $9.97, and then Cobus is going to give you a masterclass, and he's definitely a guy you can learn a lot from. So, Cobus, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and the energy that you put in, and I will be, we'll be in touch shortly, and I'll definitely be in that masterclass as well. I've actually already gone and registered and purchased it, so I'm really looking forward to spending that time. And thank you so much for making your time available, buddy.
Thank you for you as well, and thank you for everyone that tuned in and listened, and all my friends from all over the world. Thank you for your comments. I'm reading through them. It really means a lot for me. I think, like you said, Brian, in the beginning of the year, it's all about connection. You know, it's about the people we surround ourselves with. It's about coming back to connecting with people again and bringing value. So thank you for creating this platform, and yeah, see you on the masterclass.